What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. This week is closer to the holidays and we are preparing to shut things down for a little bit. Still haven't gotten any word about the lockdown, which is supposed to expire on December 21st. My gut tells me it's probably going to be extended, but we'll see. Currently at the gym, at my office, doing some of my online AKA work, which is essentially, if you guys have gotten a chance and you're interested in training, we have 4 different tiers now of online training. And basically the first 3 are pretty much access to the videos. And these videos are the lessons that I teach to my students, currently now teaching everyone online. However, it's what I teach here at Union Martial Arts. But the final tier is what we call the elite access, and that gives me the opportunity to connect with a handful of individuals and coach them through the actual cycle or the lessons. So I give a lot of, detailed points and perspective in the videos themselves, but this tier allows students to submit video feedback. So they basically record themselves for 2 minutes to 4 minutes, nothing crazy, doing the actual lesson. And so for each of those lessons, 4 in total, I would provide 1 written feedback with timestamps to help give some immediate feedback. And then every student also has the opportunity to have 1 live call with me, 45 minutes, and then we kind of expand on that and go into more detail, more theory, more concepts, and help establish long-term goals, short-term goals. And it's really a very intimate experience, which, as much as online training has evolved and how detailed and proud I am of our system, that one-on-one or that ability to connect with an instructor is so important. So we're actually at 7 students right now, and I've capped it off at 10. So if you guys are interested, I got 3 more spots left until I start delegating to some of my certified instructors that will take the place. But if you guys want to be direct with me, definitely sign up, because going towards the new year, I believe we're going to do some revamping on the tiers as well as the pricing. So lock it in, guys. And I appreciate you for all the support that you've given AKA for over the year that it's been around. But yeah, so I'm getting the feedback done for a couple of my students right now. I'll give you guys a quick gym update. This is currently the washroom situation. I just tested out, this isn't the actual paint that's supposed to go down, but I did test out a little bit of the white paint to see how it would look. The whole thing that's kind of delaying this is I'm supposed to be replacing that sink, but pretty much the province or state for you Americanos, the province is pretty much shut down. So all non-essential stores have to close, and particularly where I wanted to purchase the sink, first of all, it's been out of stock for like months. Now they're probably going to be closed and now I can't purchase it. So the whole process, that's kind of the reason why we're kind of slowed down, is I wanted to replace the sink, and in order to move on, the sink has to be there because I actually want to put some subway tiles as like a backsplash. Can't do that until the sink is there. And then once that's all in, then I would paint the floors, because the sink was actually going to be a floating sink. But, if things go well and we open up by December 21st, I can't leave the washroom like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint what I can. And if that means I have to repaint later on, then so be it. But that's basically what's going to happen probably within the week. And we're going to wrap up December's Anastacio Kali cycle, filming, I believe, tomorrow with James. But that's about it. Nothing crazy. All the handles are now the matte black handles, which is super cool. I'm done painting all of the doors. It looks very, very clean in there. Obviously, you can't really tell unless you were here in person, but that's pretty much what we're at right now. And tonight we have our Kuntao online classes at 5 and 6, and then conditioning at 6:50. So just a little over 2 hours of training tonight, and then we'll be wrapping it up tonight.
Fuck it. My darling, I love you, 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 I l
Alright guys, we're back here at the gym and I'm going to give you guys part 2 of the FMA lockdown starter kit. Let's look at some basic blocks. So of course you have your umbrella block. Some people call it the roof block. It's essentially the same thing. So we have a diagonal line. Obviously you want to make sure it's above your head. Usually it's associated with an angle. So we have a right side umbrella block. You can have a safety hand up or augmented, which means it supports. And then you have to the left what we call the left side umbrella block, going high overhead, almost like you're putting the stick over your head, scratching your back, and you want to make sure that your shoulder is protecting, it's almost augmenting the stick when it decides to recoil here, okay? So you have a right side and a left side. The best way that you guys can train that in the beginning is using it more of like a rhythm, as opposed to shooting it out like that. Smooth, step back, let it almost swing. So it's like you're doing a reverse X, and then you can practice that movement. More of like a transition as opposed to you trying to stop something. So this is our umbrella blocks here. Okay, then we have 2 jamming blocks. We have an inside jamming block that looks like so. We're drawing a triangular frame. And then we have almost like a cross, more like an X, but this is an outside jam. And so we're gonna be using our elbow to target our opponent's hands. The way that you would train that, you would step forward, 90-degree turn, nice and sharp. That's the inside. Or you step forward with your left foot, sharp 90-degree turn, that's for the outside. And the way that you put it together is you want to make sure that stick never leaves your wrist, guys. So if I start on the inside like so, if I step back, step forward, doesn't matter. I keep it on my forearm, then I push. So it never leaves my safety hand. It's almost like armor to my stick, or sorry, to my hand. Just in case I'm not there fast enough that my elbow isn't the only thing that creates contact. Now, if you guys want a more detailed explanation of that, you guys can look at FMA concepts, or you can check in my YouTube archive of plenty of old videos. Shameless plug. All right, guys, so this last part is a very important yellow sash prerequisite, and this is how we label our stick in Anastacio Kali. Many systems have their own way of doing it, but I'm pretty sure most people have particular parts of the stick that they'll refer to. You don't literally just pick it up and start swinging it. So the reason why you want to understand this is because it's going to help you refine your accuracy and how you utilize your stick. It's going to have a small but important influence on how far you step, how fast you step, and all of those physical attributes, because now we're trying to use a particular part of our weapon. So let's start from the very top. This top part here is what we call the stabbing point. So the stabbing point is what we use and what we orient towards our opponent when we decide to do things like a thrust. So we have a round stab, we have a reverse stab, we have an upward thrust. Any motion, even if I do a double-handed impact motion, we're using that part of the stick. Of course, if you guys think that this is more of like a sword, then that's the tip, and that's gonna go for stabs and be able to pierce. But if we work our way down here, this second section up top is what we call the slashing point. So the slashing point, if we have angles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's what we want to be using. If you look at the stick, I want to utilize the range. So I want that point to be what hits as opposed to further down to my hand, because that's going to carry all the momentum. The stick is solid, but it's still a flexible wood. So that's going to give the whipping effect when I strike, and that's going to be delivered at this portion here. Very, very important. And so we work our way down here to the blocking point. Okay, so the blocking point, we have that for the umbrella blocks, right? You can use that to up and equal away. There's a lot of reasons why you can do that. It is a little closer to our hand because we want a little bit more sturdy control. We don't want the stick to be able to be flung around if we're trying to deflect something, if we're trying to push or jam something. So that's why it's a little lower down. Then we work closer to our hand. This is the disarming point. This works 2 ways, guys. So the first way is I can use that because I have maximum control of the weight of my stick as opposed to the actual part where I'm holding it. So I can use that to push. I can use that to really manipulate and rip things. But also it's a place where I can target to grab and manipulate my opponent's stick because it's closest to their control as well. So I'm trying to get as close as I can to the source for some disarms, not all disarms, but that's generally the portion there. This one is the hardest and most trivial. It's the holding point, the handle. Of course, this is where we hold the stick. Nothing crazy, guys, but a lot of systems hold it a little higher up. Some systems hold it lower down and have no bottom part. For us, we have about 1 hand grip's worth from the bottom, and this is where we hold it. And now for that to make sense, we look towards the corto, or the close range part of our stick. So this particular portion here is what we call the hooking point. That also feeds down right into like my wrist area here. So hooking point, I can latch onto things, I can pull, right? I can also think more of a offensive use, hooking, like a boxing hook. I'll use that portion to hit my opponent, if not my hand. And at the very bottom, I'm sure you've all heard this word before. This is what we call the puño. This is the butt of the stick. So the butt of the stick gives the same purpose as the stabbing point, but in close range section. So you can have your backhand puño strikes. You can have it on the forehand here. A lot of snappy motions. But the hooking point and the puño point, all of this is what we consider all of the above. So this can do everything that all of this can do, just in close range. So of course, you can stab with it as we just discussed with the puño. You can slash with it when we're using the hooking motion. You can block with it. Now you wouldn't block with the puño, you'd block with your hooking point here. You can use that to jam, slap, and release, things of that nature. Disarming, you can use a lot. Heaven and earth disarm is one of my favorite. You can hook to pull, to push, to manipulate. Of course, you can adjust your grip for more range at the top, which is now gonna be my handle. And then the rest of it is the same, hooking point, puño. So there you go, guys. This is how we label our stick in Anastacio Kali, also in Bias Tres Manos. If you guys are training with me, if you guys didn't know that, definitely go over that part and really get that down, because I think that's one of the most important parts to the whole lockdown starter kit, so that not only am I giving you basic movements you can practice on your own, but you can have more understanding. And that's the hardest part as a beginner student, understanding why and what you're doing. Actually doing it, swinging a stick, is not rocket science. And I tell my students that all the time, and I tell you guys that all the time. Anybody can pick up a stick and strike. You don't need me for that. But to have a curriculum, to have structure, to have theory and understanding, that's where these small but so important details come into play. All right, y'all. We've made it back home. It's an early day. We didn't spend too much time at the gym. So I'm gonna get to editing, hopefully get this video up to you guys shortly. And I just wanna say thank you guys so much for helping me get this channel to 50,000 subscribers. And it happened so quickly. My goal was the end of the year. You guys did it in like a week. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for the love. And let's get to that 100K. Let's get that plaque. And I'm really, you know, gunning and feeling so faithful that 2021 is going to be a much better year everywhere, for the academy, for this channel, for you guys. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there, and that this content is giving you guys some entertainment, is giving you guys some education on martial arts or business or whatever it is. And I appreciate you guys. Much love to all of you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.